At this point last year, I was not a reader. I honestly reread Harry Potter every single year, and that was the extent of my reading. So I feel like I'm qualified to give you a couple of tips, tricks, and book recommendations to hopefully jumpstart you on your reading journey. I absolutely love reading now, and if you would have asked me last year at this time if I was gonna be a reader, I would have literally just been like, no, I'll probably read Harry Potter once every year. That's all I need. But now I read at least one book a week. It's become one of my favorite hobbies, and I cannot shut up about the books that I read. So here we are. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new, my name is Hannah, and on my channel we do all things reading, junk journaling, and romanticizing our everyday lives. It's really for the girls who don't ever want to lose their fun and creativity even through the chaos of adulthood. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, make sure you subscribe and stick around. But let's go ahead and get into the tips to become a reader. I think the hardest part about starting a reading journey, starting to become a reader, is figuring out what kind of books you like. So I think the best way to do that, honestly, is to think about two things. Number one, you need to think about what you like to watch, because if you like to watch rom-coms, you're probably gonna love to read rom-com romance books. If you like to watch things like Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, you're probably gonna like to read fantasy. If you like suspenseful movies like Get Out, things like that, you're probably gonna like thrillers. I just feel like once you realize what you like to watch, you can translate that into different book recommendations. Like for me personally, I love a good rom-com. Forgetting Sarah Marshall, Crazy Stupid Love, those are like right up my alley, okay? So when I started reading, I knew that I would probably like rom-com books. It took me a while to figure out like which ones I liked and how spicy they needed to be or not be. I don't really love spice, so that's just fun fact about me. So those are the kind of books that I started reading, and I really enjoyed those. I've also said already that I am a big Harry Potter girl, which is true, and that's why I dove into, I guess, like fantasy. I do like fantasy romance, but also we just love a good basic fantasy. So think about your favorite movies and try to find books that are along those same lines. The second way you can think about this is, what kind of books did you read when you were younger? Because I do feel like most people liked reading when they were younger at some point. So for me, I read Harry Potter from like the time that I was born, basically. I read The Hunger Games, Twilight. So when I started thinking about reading again, I knew that I wanted to do like fantasy, dystopian, kind of like things with the government and corruption I really enjoyed, which really led me to love Fourth Wing. So think about those books that you read growing up that you absolutely loved. Even if it's like something so small, like you liked, I don't know, Cam Jansen. I don't know if this is too niche, but Cam Jansen was one of my elementary school series that I read like crazy. Series of Unfortunate Events. If you like things like that, pick up a mystery book, pick up a thriller, you're probably gonna love it. My third tip is to figure out what's stopping you from reading, and it might be time, it might be just like time management stuff. For me personally, it was time during the day. So during the day, I wake up at like 6 a.m. I get everything ready for the day. I go to work. I go get my kids after work, bring them home, get them ready for the next day, make dinner, all this stuff. So I don't really have that much time during the day, which made me need to read at night, you know? So if I'm sitting there trying to read at night, I needed like a book light if I'm gonna use a physical book. But I really figured out that that wasn't working, because I like to lay in the bed with my kids while they're falling asleep. So while they're falling asleep, I can't really do that because that's so distracting for them. My answer was getting a Kindle. I absolutely love my Kindle. It is my pride and joy. It's my prized possession. I seriously don't think that I would read as much as I do now if I did not have a Kindle. Kind of going along with that, books are expensive, and if I had to buy every single book that I read, I'd be broke, okay? There's literally no way. I am on track to read 52 books this year, and books are like 20 bucks a piece if you're buying them like new in the store. So I highly recommend getting a library card and utilizing it to its fullest potential. You can check out books. You can even get like ebooks. So I get books delivered directly to my Kindle. There are free audiobooks. It's just so worth it. I don't know how I went for so long without using my library card, because I got my library card and then I just kind of like let it sit there. And then once I realized that I could download the Libby app and get almost every book that I wanted for free, it was a no-brainer. You do have to have some patience. You have to wait on some of the books, especially the more popular books. So that is one downside, but honestly, reading for free for pretty much everything is incredible. And it's a great way to like diversify your reading and try to figure out what you actually enjoy when you first start out. There are also ways to get like cheaper used books. So I have a store near me called McKay's, which is all used books and records and stuff. And we go there pretty often to check out used books, because if I really like a book and I read it like on my Kindle or something, I want a physical copy for my shelf, but I don't want to spend the money on buying a brand new book. So I'll go to McKay's, or I'll use like Thrift Books or any of those online sites that sell used books. Used books are fantastic, and I highly, highly recommend making an effort to do used books before you just like go out and spend a bunch of money on brand new books. If you truly can't make yourself read, like if you are struggling to make it a habit, what you need to do is set a timer on your phone to read for 10 minutes a day. Like set an alarm. When the alarm goes off, start yourself a 10-minute timer and just read. If you really like the book, you'll just feel like you want to keep reading. And once you figure out kind of the genre that you really like reading, I feel like you will dive into a book for 10 minutes and then want to read for forever. But if you do not like a book, stop reading. DNF the book. I feel like this is something that I still struggle with so hard, and I've talked about it to my friends, and my coworker at school, he was like, listen, there are so many good books out there in the world that if you don't like it, stop reading it. Stop reading it. Go read something better. Go read something that you know you're gonna like. Stop reading books you don't like. DNF it. It's fine. It's really not that big of a deal, and it's something that I honestly need to work on a little bit, but at some points I'm just like, this book kind of sucks, but I'm at 52%. I'll just finish it and see if it gets better. It does not ever get better. So next time that happens to me, I'm going to take my own advice and I'm going to just cut it. I'm just going to stop reading. Tip number 7 is to try audiobooks. Find narrators that you like and don't listen to things that you hate the narration of. But if you really like an audiobook, put that on while you're working out, while you're cooking or cleaning, and you're going to be able to read so many more books. Audiobooks count as books. I don't read them often, but I do listen to them sometimes and I really enjoy it. I really like them because they can be so immersive, because if you can like get a free copy of like a library book and then also get the audiobook of it, then you can listen to it while you're reading it. And I think that makes you so immersed in a world, especially if you're reading like a fantasy, because then you're hearing it and you're reading it at the same time, and it's just such a fun experience. But with like rom-coms and stuff, I really can just like listen to them while I'm doing other things, and I think it's a fun time. So I do recommend giving audiobooks a shot to see if you like those. Like I said earlier, you can get them for free from your library, or you can do like free trial of Everend or Audible, all the different audiobooks. If you have Spotify Premium, I think you get like a certain number of hours of audiobooks that you can listen to, so that's pretty cool. But just give it a shot, see if you like it. And then my last tip is just to really immerse yourself in a book, in a world. So if you're reading like a summer rom-com, go outside and read it. If you have a beach nearby, go sit at the beach and read. If you don't, you can put something on your TV where you have like an ocean with like ocean sounds while you're reading the book, and it just makes you feel like you're a little bit there. I do this all the time when I'm reading fantasy. I will figure out like if it's a dragon fantasy, I'll put like a dragon ambiance on YouTube and I'll sit there and I will read that. So I'll have that in the background while I'm reading, and it just really immerses you in the experience, which I think is so much fun. And it's kind of like a form of escapism, but we love it. So those are all my tips. Now I'm going to give you some of my favorite books that I think will really get you into reading if you love rom-coms, fantasy, magical realism, I guess, because those are my top genres. That's what I love to read. When people give book recommendations, sometimes they'll be like, in no specific order. This is in a specific order. I need you to know that the order that I recommend these in is important to me. Number 1 is Fourth Wing, the Empyrean series. The thing about this series is it is not completed. So if you don't want to like be left on a cliffhanger, maybe don't do this one yet, but this really got me into reading. So there are 5 books in this series that will eventually come out, but we currently only have 3 of them out. This book series is so great with kind of like government political corruption as well as fantasy with a side of romance, which is my favorite things ever. So this is right up my alley, and I'm so glad that I read this in like August of last year because I have not stopped since. 10 out of 10. Love this. Some people hate it because they're like, oh, like her writing style, blah, blah, blah. I'm not reading for writing style. I'm reading for a good time, and this is a good fucking time. So if you're not into cussing, might not be the book series for you, but I am, so I absolutely love it. Next up is The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston, and this is a rom-com that lives in my head rent-free. Like, this is a 6-star book for me. I recommend this to literally everyone. I'll recommend it on the internet. I recommend it to my friends. I just made my book club read it, and every single one of them loved it because it's incredible. Like, this is such a good book. So this is romance, but it does have kind of like a magical feel because what happens is Clementine moves into the apartment that her aunt lived in before she died. And when her aunt was alive, she would always tell her that the apartment was magical and that it would slip you into the past or the future. So you could kind of like time travel. And that's exactly what happens to Clementine. She walks into her new apartment and she is transported 7 years into the past, and there's a guy in her apartment. And it's so good. I don't want to say anything else because I don't want to spoil anything. Such a good book. Makes you laugh, makes you cry. That's what you need in a book. So 10 out of 10, 100 out of 10, my favorite book maybe ever. If you want a completed fantasy series, I have 2 to recommend to you. The first one is going to be the Powerless series by Lauren Roberts, and this kind of has like mixed opinions on it, but I absolutely loved it. I thought the first book was so good. There are trials, so think like Hunger Games. There is a situation where people have powers, but our main character, our female main character, does not. And she has been like masking like she has powers for her whole life. And that's where this book comes in. She gets into these trials, and she is in the trials with one of the king's sons. And that's what I'll give you because it's so, so good. This first book is fantastic. The second one is fine. And then I thought the third book was done really, really well. I think a lot of people who read the first one and then read the second one were disappointed by the second and didn't go on to finish the third. And that's why they don't recommend this series. But I really liked it. I think you should do this series for sure. I guess since we're talking about fantasy, I'll go ahead and recommend the Crimson Moth duology. I thought this was such a good time. I was so excited when the second book came out this year because it had been something that I was looking forward to so much since I read the first book. So essentially in this world we have witches, but being a witch is basically outlawed and they kill witches. So our female main character is a witch, but she's been hiding it forever, and she also is helping other witches who get caught, helping them escape. So she is a rebel witch. And our male main character is actually a witch hunter. So it's such a good time. The banter is great. The back and forth, the like longing but never lust, I guess, is what I love the most about this. It was so good. My other obsession is Divine Rivals, and it's a duology, so it's 2 books. It's such an easy read. I don't know how to describe this series because it's like, it is fantasy, but it feels more historical because it's all about a war. The war is between gods, so that is kind of where the fantasy element comes in, but we don't really focus on that. We focus more on like historical aspects and a little bit of magic on the side. There's a romance in it, and I just think it is such a fun read. And then if you're really into rom-coms where you have like a history, but then something goes wrong at like 80%, like all good rom-com movies, you have to read Happy Place. I think this is Emily Henry's best work. She is known as the rom-com queen right now, but like Happy Place it's so dang good. This one is the most fun summer read that I've ever found. I just had such a good time with it. This is probably my highest rated just straight rom-com book, like my straight romance. I've never rated anything without magic as highly as I've rated this. I think this is the best that you can get. The one that I loved was The Wishing Game. I did that one on audiobook, and essentially what that one is there is a children's author that everyone loved, and he went into retirement and he lives on an island by himself. But what he does is he invites 4 of his biggest fans, who are now adults, to his island to play a game where they can potentially win his book that he has only like 1 copy of. So he's just written this new book and it's exclusive. There's 1 copy and they can sell it when they win it, and it will change their lives. So we learn about these adults, what they went through as kids and what they're going through now, and why they need the money, why they want the book, and it's really just interesting. And then of course I can't recommend books without recommending the greatest series of all time. So put what you think about J.K. Rowling aside, read Harry Potter if you've never read Harry Potter, or if you haven't read it in a long time, because this will get you back into reading. After you get past the first like 2 books that were clearly just made for 8-year-olds, you are going to absolutely love this series. You laugh, you cry some more, and the last 2 books are just burned into my soul. You can get these for free. If you don't want to support her, it's fine. Go find them for free. You don't need to pay for them. Just appreciate the art. Also, if you read The Hunger Games as like a child, as a teenager, whenever, you should 100% read the other books that Suzanne Collins has put out in the Hunger Games universe, because that really made me feel like I was just like getting back into reading, and I loved that so much. It was really nostalgic for me to read those and just kind of see like the backstory behind other characters in the Hunger Games. I feel like there's definitely books that I've read that I loved that I missed in this little book recommendation section. So let me know what your favorite books are to like ease people back into reading down in the comments below if you are a reader, or let me know what you're gonna try to read first if you're trying to get back into reading. If you made it this far, please give this video a thumbs up and drop a book emoji down in the comments section. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe to my channel and I will see you in the next one.